Welcome back to part 3 of the series, the real-time Django chat application. So in this particular episode, part 3, we are going to be going a step further, understand. So in the previous episode, in part 2, we were able to send messages, right? So for example, Clinton is logged in here. Clinton is logged in here while John is logged in on the other device, you understand? So I want to send John a message. So right now, I'll simply look for John. I should have John as a friend. You can see him here, John Maxwell. So open him. So now currently I'll just say hi John. So send. Once I send John a message. So John has not seen any stuff yet. John has received a message. So you can see Clinton is a friend of John. Just click on Clinton here. You can see John received the message. So I'll simply send him one more. I'll say, how are you today? How are you today? So send. It got sent. But on John's part, John has received the message, but he will only see it once he reloads the page. But I don't want that. I want to make sure that whenever we are chatting, he receive the messages without the page reloading, understand? So I want it to be real time. So John can only see this message once he loads his page. So I'm going to reload the page right now. You can see he has received it. How are you today? He will reply back and say, I am fine. And he has sent Clinton a message saying it's fine. So Clinton won't see this. Clinton has received the message, but he will only see it if he reloads the page. So once Clinton reloads the page, Clinton has seen the message from John, understand? So what we want to do now in this episode, in this part, is that we want to make sure that whenever two persons are chatting, they receive the message real time without the page reloading. So that's the focus for this episode. So we'll be doing that right now. So right now I'll be going down to the views.py. So here's our views.py. So I'll be creating this function. This function we call received chat, received underscore chats, or let's just say received chats or received messages. That'll be fine. So we're going to pass on the request and the primary key, the PK, understand. This is really important. Okay, so right there now, so I'm going to just copy these three things we did here. We'll still use them here. Control C. And if I paste, I need to return the JSON response. So I'll just simply copy this first to save time. As I need to copy this. Okay, since I've copied them, I will simply just pass in a simple string here. Let's just say it's working. For now, it's working. Okay, perfect. Okay, after you've done this, so I'm going to just simply copy these first 3 lines. Copy. And I'll paste it. Yeah, just paste it there. So on the first line, we're trying to get the profile that is currently logged in. The second line, we're trying to get the friend by the profile ID. And on the third line, we're trying to get a profile that has the same ID as this friend, understand? So this user is the logged in profile, while this profile is a friend to this logged in profile, to this, understand? So right now we are trying to work on a system that makes sure that the logged in user gets back message whenever one of his friends sends a message. Understand? I showed you something here. Let's assume, as you can see, Clinton is logged in on this device on the left and John is logged in on this device on the right. So once John is a friend of Clinton. So once John sent Clinton a message, understand? Once John sent Clinton a message, Clinton does not get it real time. Understand? So we want to do something. So now what I want to do now is this. I want to get all the chats. First of all, we'll say chat should be equal to chat message dot objects dot filter. Understand? So once you get these chats by their senders and receivers, so say msg underscore sender should be equal to. So now right now the sender is going to be the friend of this logged in user, while the receiver will be the current logged in user. You understand? So you understand, in this case now Why are you trying to send messages now? If you like, if I try to send, if I send this, what's happening? I think my server is down. Okay, let's see what the problem is. Okay, the problem is from here, this chat stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that when I try to send a message, when John tries sending the message to Clinton, John sends it, but Clinton does not receive it real time in instant. So you can see John here is a friend of Clinton, and Clinton on this device is logged in. So Clinton on this device is logged in and is the one receiving the message. Understand? So that's why I had to come over here and say that the sender is a friend of the logged in user. So the sender is going to be the profile I defined there. Right, the receiver is going to be user, the actual logged in user. MSG receiver is going to be equal to the user. You understand? So this is now perfect. You understand? So what I want to do now is this. So now I'm going to simply look through this chat, because I want to send this chat to the front end. So I want to look through it. So I'm going to simply look through this chat. For now, I'm going to create an empty array. So I'm going to look to this chat and pass in the body of this chat to this array. So I'm going to simply say for chats in chats, I'll simply say r.append chats.body. Oh, what's happening? So out.append chat.body. So that's it now. So this array is going to hold the chat's body, the message that was be that's the message. Understand, the actual message itself. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to my detail.html now. So now right now I'm going to write a new function. So just under here I'm going to write a function. So I'm going to call this function receive messages. Received messages. So let's do this. So right now I want to send something to that view we defined here. Understand? So I'm going to create a variable we want to send over there. So I'm going to simply say let's counter. I'll explain everything to you. Just follow me. Let's counter equal to 0. So I'm going to send this value of 0 to that view. Understand? So I'm going to copy the code we have here. Or should I redo this? Let me see if I still have the fetch API open. So you can just, okay, it's there. So I'll just simply copy. Okay, and so now I'm going to simply paste it below, just here. So let's paste that there, and that's fine. So now I'm going to simply call this number, or let's call it number, and then I'll pass this counter there. I want to just send something to that view, anything, just something. Counter. So I just set counter to 0 instance. So to that view, so I'm going to simply create a URL right now. So let me be sure this is recording. Okay, it's recording. So I'll select URL equal to. So I'm going to set this URL. I'm going to declare this URL right now, and right now it's going to be similar to this. Just copy this. So we're going to simply say receive messages, just REC, and PK, because we are doing this for each of the friend of this user, so we are going to always use this PK. So I'm going to call, I think the function is called received messages. Okay, URL received messages rather, received messages, and the name should be, let's just say REC MSG REC, yeah. REC, that's fine. Okay, now come down to the detail.html right now. Okay, right now I just realized something. We don't actually need this counter. Sorry, we don't need it for now. I just realized it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Without the counter, everything will be fine. Understand? So right now we are going to be doing a get request, not a post request. Understand? So once you are doing a get request, so there's no need for all this extra data we have here. Once it's a get request, once we are doing a what's it called, a get request, so this extra data are not needed, so I'm going to just clear them. Once it's a get request, we also want to get something from that URL, from that view instance. So from this URL I want to just get something. So the thing we want to get is this arrays of data instance, this array that holds the charts we're able to filter instance. So right now, so let me pass this array as a value here, arr, and that's it. So now this array, this is what you want to get now. So just come out the detail.html. Okay, so we want to, okay, that's nice. So now this set interval, I spelled it wrongly, should be interval. So right now this function is going to keep getting called every 3 seconds, understand? So let's see how everything goes. So let's see. So okay, so right now this function keeps getting executed every 3 seconds. If you watch the terminal keeps updating every 3 seconds, understand? So I'm going to explain what is happening right now. So what we're trying to do is that we're trying to get this data, this array, from this view. We're trying to get this from the back end to the front end, understand? So without the page reloading, understand? So every 3 seconds this function checks the database to see if there is a new message for the logged in user, understand? So that's what it does. I'm going to explain what this function does again. So this helps to make the function run every 3 seconds. So this is the function here. So we assign a URL to check from where we can get this data from. So this is the URL. So when we get the data, it's going to be in a JSON form. So after that, we get the actual data. When we get the data, it is being converted to JSON here. So after that, we have the actual data in this second.then. So in this second.then, we can then do whatever we like with this data. You understand? Okay, so that's it over there. You check the browser, you can see it keeps showing every 3 seconds. So you see every 3 seconds. So I'm going to pause this right now. So pause. Okay, just been paused. Okay, so what I want to do is this now. So I want to simply, okay, I want to simply add more messages, understand? So let's do that. Okay, right now I want to simply add more received messages for cleansing for the user on the left, understand? So I'll simply send I. You can see. So if I refresh, cleansing receives I. I'll simply say, how are you today? So send, refresh, cleansing receives it. So our goal is to make sure that we receive this message without refreshing. That's our goal, to receive the message without refreshing. So these are the messages Clinton has received from John, understand? So I want to, okay, there is it now. So nice. So just right here now. Okay, if you work closely now, I'll just Control Z. Okay, this function runs every 2 seconds. So you will see that same message on the console, because just from here we are getting the message. We're able to filter through the chat message model, and we got what we want by saying we filter through the image sender and image receiver. I already explained this part. So after that, we have to now look through this query set and get the value of the body field, and then we have to append it to this empty array instance. So we pass this array as a JSON response to the front end instance. So that done over there. So now just come down here, refresh. I'm going to maximize this and refresh the page, and then go down to the console. You see those messages. You can see these are the messages Clinton has received from John. You can see, I am fine, how are you? He received these messages from John. That's nice. It keeps on checking if there'll be a new one. If John sends a new one right now, let's see. Let's say, I would like to see you today. I would like to see you today. Yes, send. Let's see. John sent a new one. You can see it has been added automatically without me refreshing the page. That's what you want to achieve. You can see it's now 4. Okay, and this message is being passed to our front end. That's what we have over here, this data, understand, the second.then. So right now I'm going to simply create that let's counter. I think it's let's counter, right? I'll simply say let's counter equal to 0. Let's counter equal to 0. So just there. Okay, so now I'm going to simply set counter. I will simply say counter should be equal to data.length. Just follow me. So I set counter to be data.length inside this dot then function. Understand? So if counter is the same thing as the data length, that means there is no new message. But if counter is not the same as the data length, that means there is a new message. Understand? As mean we have a, you can see right now, length of the array is currently 4. Understand? If counter remains 4, that means there is no new message. So we will not fetch a new message. Understand? But if the length of counter changes, that means there is a new message. Understand? So we are going to write some logic in this if block to show you what is going on. So right now, I want to check. So right now, I want to check the length of the array we are receiving. So I want to check it out. I'm going to simply write an if statement. I'll simply say if. I'll simply say if data dot length is equal to 0. So we are going to do nothing. We'll do nothing. So I'll simply write the else block just underneath. I'll say else. Else if it is not 0, if it has some values, so I'm going to do something else. Understand? So else I'll simply say last message. I simply want to get the last. I want to get the last item in the array, which is this, the last item. So I'll simply say last message, last msg, last message should be equal to data square brackets data dot length -1. So this is the way you get the last element in an array in JavaScript. So I just got the last message right here. So right now I'll simply say, just inside of the else block, I'll simply say if counter is equal to data.length, that means if counter is equal to data.length, that means there is no new message. Understand? So I'll simply just console.log there is no new message. Understand? There is no new chats. You get? So that's it there. Okay, so after we've done this now, so write an else block else. So if counter is equal to data.length, that means we console that loud. Else if it is not equal, that means there is a new message you need to print out on the page. To print out this new message, what we need to do, we need to create a new div. We did that. So we did the same thing up here. Understand? We did the same thing. I don't know that I should copy this code to make things easier. So just copy this. I'll copy to the end. Just copy and I'll change some stuff. Ctrl C, and just at the bottom here. So we just do some stuff here, just like that there. So let's get chat body is the container that's housing this stuff. So we create a message box. Okay. Then we say chat message box dot class list. Remember, these two stuff, they are completely different. Understand? Because they are in a different scope. They are in this stuff you see is local to this function. Understand? It's local, so it's not accessible outside of this function. So don't worry about the function names being the same. So right there, I'm going to simply set the contents of this chat message box. So in this chat message box is simply this box you see here, or the box on the slate blue. Understand? So right there now, we just simply say the content is going to be this last message we have up here. Understand? So I need to define that with let's stand. I'll simply say let's last message. So simply do that there, and I'll simply say last message. Understand? Okay, that's fine. So now I'll simply add a different class. So this is going to be received and not sent. Now received. Okay, so I think this should be perfect now. I think everything should be fine. So let's test this on the browser. So I'm going to simply come up here and reduce this to, let's say 2 seconds is okay. Okay, and now I'll simply run server. So server is taking quite some time to run. Okay. So now we are going to try out if this thing is working. So just go down here. We're going to refresh this page. So then minimize it to see things. Okay, minimize, and okay, let's see, and I just hope everything is fine here. So let's send a new message. Let's see if it works. So just say cleansing. Just send cleansing. Let's see. Say cleansing and send. You can see we got cleansing. Cleansing up here, real time. Understand? So now I'm going to simply clear the database so you can see everything working perfectly. So I'm going to clear the chat messages we have there. So let's see how everything goes. So delete, go. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, done. Refresh this page, minimize it, refresh this one, minimize. So I'll simply say hi John, hi John. Oh, what's happening to me? Hi John. So send. You can see they both received at the same time. Perfect. You stand. So John replies hi Clinton. So send. Oh, perfect. You can see Clinton got it, John got it. You can see it's view time and everything is working perfectly real time. So if I go back to the home page and come back again to where is John? John here. Perfect. You can see, go back to the, oh, there is a problem. So if you watch closely, John appeared twice. Let me try it here again. Come back to Clinton. Oh, so we need to fix this problem. So we're fixing it right now. So okay, so we're fixing it right now. Okay, so we've been having some kind of duplicate issues. For example, if I say hi John, and send, they both get the message, right? So if I refresh the page right now, oh, okay, let's add one more. Let's see. Okay, you can see John has been duplicated in the sound. So if John sends back to Clinton, the Clinton will also have a duplicate message. So just say hi Clinton. So send. It gets here. Or if I refresh the page over here, just watch. You can see it becomes 2. So we want to stop this from happening. Understand? So how do we do that right now? So okay, just come down to your. You're going to go down to our code right here. The reason why that stuff is occurring is because whenever you refresh the page, our JavaScript code gets restarted. Understand? The JavaScript code gets restarted. So to avoid that, so I'm show you something here. Just on top here, you can see we declared counter. Understand? So I need to just make this look better. I'm coming. Just tab it in here. So whenever we refresh the page, the value of counter comes back to 0. Understand? And counter is simply trying to monitor the length of data we have gotten from the backend, from the database. Understand? So to prevent this from returning back to 0, we need to give this counter a proper value from the database. Understand? So to do that now, come out to your views.py under your detail, this detail view here, this detail, yeah, the detail view. So I'm just going to come down here and copy this receive messages stuff. I'm going to copy down here, Ctrl C, copy this stuff and just paste under here. I'll paste it here and change the name to received chats, REC underscore. Yeah, so now just at the bottom, I want to get the number of chats we have here. Understand? So at the bottom here, I'll just simply just here put in num. So I will simply say num, just like the value for the key. The key is to be called num. You can call it whatever, you can give it whatever name you like. So I'm going to call my num. So num is going to hold the number of objects we have in this query set. So I'm going to simply say num should be equal to rec underscore chats dot count. So this is all what you need to do right now. So now I'll simply take in the value of this num now to my detail.html, because this is the page detail.html. You can see we have counter just here. So now I'm going to put in the value of num here now. Num. So this is actually getting the data from the database, not a static. This value here is dynamic. Even though you refresh the page, it does not change back. It does not change. It remains the same as what we have in our database. So this problem now will be solved. Just check. Let's see right now. So refresh the page. Okay, I need to do the same thing here. Refresh your page out. Let's send something to Clinton. Say, okay, John says, hi Clinton. I'll simply say, how are you? How are you? If I send it, okay, they both got the message, right? So if I refresh on John's side, you can see John is not having any duplicates. He's not having any duplicates message, understand? So refresh. So John replies saying, I am fine, and sends back to Clinton. Clinton gets it. And if I refresh on Clinton's side, Clinton does not have any form of duplicate message. You can see that problem has been solved. Perfect. Everything is working fine. It stands so working perfectly. This can work for any user. If you log in with another user account, if you log in with Jane or with Pep Guardiola or with Mike and with some other user, and you guys are chatting, everything is going to work perfectly. You understand? So this is the next step for us now. So whenever a user sends, whenever Clint sends a user a message, we want to make sure that user gets a notification whereby the number on this circle gets updated. Understand? So if Clinton sent Mike, and let's assume if Clinton sends, because Clinton and John are currently logged in right now, understand? So let's assume if Clinton sent John a message, so John can see it from his end that Clinton sent him a message whereby this number here keeps getting updated as Clinton sends message. Clinton sent 2 messages. As far as John has not opened it, it's going to show that he has 2 new messages. So we're doing that right now, you understand? So now let's do that now. So right away, go down to our VS Code. So we are going to write the same kind of function we've been writing. This is quite similar to what we've been writing. So now I'm going to also write a function. This function, we are going to simply we're going to get chat notification. So chat notification, this is not the function. So before I proceed, I'd love to define the view at the okay, the view you understand. So because we'll be getting this data from the back end, understand? So from the front end, we'll be getting data from the back end. So right now, I need to go down to my views.python, create a new views, CMSH dev chat notification. So that's gonna be equal to, let's say, requests. And mind you, this function is gonna be on the, where's the place again? This function is gonna be on the index page, you understand? Not on the detail page, you understand? On the index page. So not there. So now that's where it should be. So it's gonna be so now we'll simply return a JSON response. I'll just copy this to save time. So we'll just simply say it's fine for now. Okay, that's it now. So we're going to create a URL for this. So let's do that right away. I'm just going to copy this, Ctrl C. Okay. So for now, I'm going to simply say notification and just put this one notification also. So I'm changing to views.chat notification. Views, what was it called again? Views.chat notification. Perfect. Okay, so right now let's go I'm going to write a function. So the function is going to be on the index page, understand? Because what we're trying to work on is on the index page, understand? So it's going to be on the index page now. So just at the bottom, so create a new script tag here, script. Okay, so now this function, I simply said function, because I just simply say, I'll simply say get notification, and okay, after we've done this now, so we're going to use the fetch API we've been using before. So I'm going to define my URL. Now we are going to be doing a get request. We're not doing any form of post. We want to get data from the backend. We're not trying to post, understand? So simply select URL be equal to, I'll simply say notification. I think that's what I called it. URL, and I think it should be called notification. Let's be sure of that. Okay, notification, that's awesome. Okay, perfect. Notification there. Okay, so now we're going to simply use the fetch API. So fetch and then fetch URL. So n.then. So we have the .then here. So it gets a promise. And stand at false. We got the promise response .json. Okay. Secondly, we get the actual data just at the bottom .then, which is data. So you can simply console that data in the browser's console. So say console.log data. Okay, that's fine. So now we're trying to get something. So let's also add the I forgot we need to add the catch block in case of an error. So simply say catch and then we do error. Stand on console.log error. So that's it now. So once we get the data from this view, so now we're going to do that right now. So first of all, once we get the logged in user, I'll say user should be equal to, or I can get this from here. I don't want to waste time, you understand? So let's just get this Control C. So that's what we want there. So I'm going to explain what is going on. So right here now we've gotten the logged in user, which is the first one, user. So now the friends, these friends you see are simply the friends of the logged in user. So I'm going to loop through this. I'm going to loop through these friends. I'll simply say for friend in friends. So I want to get the number. I want to get chat notification as it's coming in instant. So I'll say for friend and friends. So for friend and friends is going to be equal to, simply say chat should be equal to chat message. So I want to get the chat message dot objects dot filter. So I want to filter through them, filter, and then say msg sender. The sender is going to actually be a friend. The receiver is going to be the logged in user. So underscore id. I want to get this sender by the id. Understand? Should be equal to friends dot profile. It's gonna be equal to friend dot profile, friend dot profile dot id, and the receiver is gonna be the logged in user. Gonna be equal to user, understand? So, and we're gonna also put in sin equal to false. Remember, this is an attribute. Sin equal to false. So right now, what I want to do now is that I'm going to declare an empty array here. It should be equal to empty. So what I'm going to do is this now. So I'll simply say r.append. So I want the number of messages. I'm going to simply say chats.count. So that's what I want to do right now. Okay. So right now I'm going to pass in r into this array. I'm going to pass in the array into this place, so you can have it in the. So I'll simply say array. So that's it there now. So now I'm going to go down to my index.html file, and what I want to do is I want to make sure this function is called every 1 second. So I say set interval should be get notification and 1000 milliseconds, which is equal to 1 second. So I think everything should be perfect. So now refresh the page. I'm going to open my console to see if message is printed. So let's see. There's an error. Okay, I made a mistake. I used .d somewhere. It should be .then. Okay. So refresh the page again. Okay, you can see we are getting the number of notifications a friend has sent to the logged in user. In this time we can get them. You can see Mike has sent 0. You can see it's actually John that has sent 2 messages. You can see John is the third person here. Actually John that has sent 2 messages. That's perfect. So right now I'm going to simply, you can see this arena is not accessible over here instead, because we're trying to, you can see we did the fetch, we did the get request to get the array. So right now I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to simply loop. I want to get, you can see this is where we want to place the, no, this is where we want to place the number, just this class that has msg, and we have 5 of them because this is a for loop, so we have 5 of them. So right now I'm going to simply go down, so we can do this now. So do over here now, simply say I'm going to loop through the arrays. So simply say for let's I equal to 0, I is less than data dot length, and I plus plus. After this, then I am going to then say, so no, okay, now I'm going to simply get that class, that div. I'm going to simply say let's message, or I'm going to simply say let's chat notification button, let's chat notification button equal to documents dot get element by class name, which is msg. So right now I'll simply say chat notification. So chat notification square bracket I dot inner text should be equal to data square bracket I. So I think this should work. Refresh the page. Having an error. So get elements is kind of wrong. Should be get element. There should be an X. So refresh the page. Okay, you can see it's perfect. You can see now, you can see we have 2 here because John has actually sent Clint 2 messages. So we check. It's not actually 2, but I'll fix this problem right now. So I'll simply explain what's going on over here. So right now we got the array of numbers. Instead, we try to get number of chat messages each friend had sent. Understand? So we got it here, and we have to push it. We have to then append it into an array. So we got the array here. We then have to look through the array. We look through the array to get each item. And if you check, the array's length and these button length are the same. Understand? They are the same. Yeah, 5 5. They'll always be the same. So I looked through the array, to then I was able to access each of the button through the looped array, and then I had to make sure the contents of those buttons are the contents of the array. Understand? So that was it there. Okay, so now what I want to do next is this, because by default the messages we receive are all set to false. The scene attribute is set to false. So I want to set them to true whenever a user clicks on a message you receive. I want to set this attribute to true. You understand? So that's what I want to do next right now. So how do you achieve what you want to do? So simple. So whenever a user receives a message, whenever he receives a message and he clicks on it, we want to set that same attribute to true. You understand? Because he has seen the message if he clicks on it. So if he clicks on it, he's going to arrive on this page, right? So it's on this page, it's on this view. I'm going to update that same attribute. So I'm going to come down the views.py. So just here now, you can see we have the received chats. The chats a logged in user receives. You understand? We already have it there. So now simply come down here and say rec_chats dot update should be seen equal to true. Understand? So that's what I want to achieve there. So refresh the page now to the home page. You can see everything has been set to 0. You can see even the one that John sent Clinton. So right now let's try some stuff. So now I'm gonna minimize it. So Clinton is logged in. Clinton wants to send John a message. John is also logged in. You can try some other users of your choice. I'm using Clinton and John because I'm currently logged. I logged both of them in. Okay, so right now I've cleared out the messages we have in the database. I've cleared everything. I've cleared everything out. So I'm going to send John a message now. So John should see Clinton sent him a message. From here you see that this number has updated. So just pick John. Here we have John over here. So send him. Let's say hi John. So I cleared out the number. I cleared out the former messages we have. I cleared them out. So I say hi John. So send. You can see the number updated. It says hi John. You can see that's to tell John that Clinton just sent him a message. So if John checks, John can check it out and he sees the message. Understand? John can also send back to Clinton. Understand? So you can say hi Clint, and Clinton will see notification from John here. You can see. So just send. You can see Clinton sees it. Understand? If he says, if he sends more, how are you? So wow, you can see everything is working very nice, very fine. You get. So that's it. Now we've come to the end of this tutorial series. It was quite hectic for me because I had to do this on a straight night. I had to do this tutorial on a straight night. Understand? So thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. So subscribe to Code with Clinton. Subscribe, like, and share this video. The source code is down below, so go and try it out yourself. See things for yourself. Thank you for Thank you for watching, and because you can show me, so you can show your boys some love on Patreon. And I recommend Bluehost for your web hosting. If you want to start, if you have a business, you want to start an online, want to get your blog online, or want to just put your business there, you want to put your business there online, I recommend Bluehost. Check them out. You can sign up through the link below. Try them. They are really good and reliable. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video tutorial. So stay blessed and bye bye.